Okay, so now we're collecting another data point to complete the full picture of your zone. And now we're taking a look at Wealth Dynamics by Roger Hamilton. And this is a personality test, personality profile system. And to very succinctly and very quickly sum it up, what it says is that there's 8 different wealth creation types. There's 8 different types that create wealth in different ways. So the test helps you figure out which type you are, and then the philosophy of it is to use the abilities that are aligned with your type to create wealth, which will then allow wealth to come most naturally to you. And this is completely optional. So if you want to take this test, go for it. I've done it. It's helpful. It's like $97. You might be able to find a coupon for less. If you don't want to take it, that's totally okay. What you can do is just be aware of these types, and you can basically figure out which one you think you are. Okay, so let's just go through it because it's applicable whether you've taken it or whether you don't, but you just still want to see what type you think you are. All right, so what we've got here is, I'm going to go to actually the next one because I have little descriptions for each of these. So let's start out with the creator. Surprise, surprise, creators can't help creating. They're good at creating profitable ideas and businesses, but not so good with the day-to-day running of a business. Successful creators will delegate everything except the creative process. Example, Walt Disney, Richard Branson. So in this system, each person has one primary type, and then they have secondary types. So for example, myself, I'm a mechanic, and then as my primary, my secondary is a creator and a lord. Okay, so let's continue taking a look at these. The star, easy to spot a star. Obviously you have film, music, and sports stars, but high-profile CEOs can be thought of as stars as well. They rely on the strength of their personality and are aware of the pressure of always having to deliver. They're in the limelight. So if that's something like you who likes and thrives being in the limelight, possibly a star. Supporter. So supporters are great networkers with loads of energy and enthusiasm. Their greatest wealth can be achieved when they join forces with a star, creator, dealmaker, or mechanic. Because they're here to support, obviously. I mean, it's very clear. Okay, so that might be you, and that's why certain business advice is, say, giving you business advice to be a star, or giving advice to you to be a mechanic, but you're naturally, say, a deal maker or supporter. Okay, and of course, it's good to round out our abilities, but it's also good to know like just what we're designed for. So the deal maker relies on relationships, connections, and being able to react intuitively when the best opportunities present themselves. So this was a key of building the freedom that I created in my SEO business, because I realized I was a mechanic. I realized that I was all about systems. I realized that I loved to refine the system, but I didn't really like talking to people, or it didn't give me energy. I'd rather just talk with my close-knit group of people. So, and I realized I could grow my ability to do sales, but I witnessed certain people that just were always thinking of the deal. It was one person I just saw. I mean, he was always thinking of the deal, always thinking, where my mind was always thinking of like the system. So I realized there, like, okay, well, we need to sell these sites in the SEO world. Why don't I team up with a deal maker, and I can just focus on the system. They can focus on the deals and the relationship. Boom. And that's what I did. I found 2 deal makers, and we both partnered up in different ways on the different sites that we created together. And I focused on the system, mechanic. They focused on the deals. And that's what created it. Okay. And the trader. A trader is someone who naturally hunts out bargains, naturally loves haggling, and gets immense satisfaction from a great deal. They're equally as good at finding high-priced buyers. All right? So these are things to just be aware of. Like, I know for myself, a trader, that's not me, you know? I'm actually the opposite of, like, I just, you know, you can just notice where you're different and where you're similar, okay? So let's take a look at the mechanics. The mechanics are perfectionists who like to finish things rather than create them. They want to make everything better, fine-tune them. Henry Ford, Mark Zuckerberg, Samuel Walton, always creating the system. All right. The Lord likes to control everything. You can find a Lord where there are fixed assets generating cash. They don't want attention like the stars and like to create wealth quietly. So just to use my own example here, especially with the SEO business, was like, okay, here's a system. All right. Had to use a little creator energy to just create it, but then it was really about managing the assets and fine-tuning the system. So you can see how that comes out. And now with Decode Your Genius, it's really about creating the system. That's what I've always wanted, so that it wasn't a one-to-one regular coaching thing, but a system that helped bring the best out of people. Okay. And the accumulator. The accumulator is about incremental growth is the key to this wealth dynamics profile. They're patient and disciplined and stick fast to a successful system. We'll talk about actually Warren Buffett in a future video. So it's like they don't necessarily need to create the system or the method. They just take something that works and they have the patience and the discipline to stay in that lane and just stick with it. And build and build and build, whereas the creator likes to jump around and move and create different things. So take note of what your primary is, and then take note of what your secondaries are, and write those down in your playbook, because this will help you understand, okay, what is this extra data point of what your zone actually is. And that's what I've got for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one.